card, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of Kaisercraft's white paint on the card, and I'm just going to dry brush that in. I want to kind of give it a bit more of a tooth, of a coating. Now you could use gesso as well, but I quite like the Kaisercraft white paint for this. So I'm just going straight onto the card, and some places are thicker than others. It gives you a kind of a nice, interesting, messed up kind of look. So if you can see there, you can see there's some areas that are thicker. You can see the brush strokes, etc. So that's how I want it. It's quite nice and thick. So I'm going to leave that to one side to dry, or you can dry it off with your heat gun. So I have here the piece of card that I painted with the Kaisercraft paint, and I'm going to create a bit of a drippy background with it. So I'm going to use the turquoise Kaiser mist. Don't forget to shake them up to get all that beautiful shimmery goodness that's down at the bottom. And I'm just going to liberally just spray that on, and then just on the one half. And then I'm going to use the candy, which is the soft pink, which is really pretty, and I'm going to do that on the other half. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get this to drip down. Now see how nicely this is dripping? That wouldn't do that had I not painted this. It would have just absorbed into that card. So down we go, creating this kind of dripped effect. Now I'm going to introduce a little bit more happening down here, a bit of the apple green maybe, and this is going to react, and then just to keep that reaction going, a bit of water, and then you can catch these splodges at the end. Now you saw me just wiping up those bits. What I would normally do is I would see actually just dripping up here at the end so it doesn't look like a big puddle. See how pretty that's looking? I think it looks gorgeous. What I'd normally do with the little leftover bits is to take another piece of card and put them into that to pick up all the ink on that card and create another background for later. So I normally wouldn't be wiping up and wasting the amount of mist that you see me doing here. So this is great now, so I just need to dry this off before I can take this any further. So my misted background is now dry, and what I'm going to use is this again, the same template and texture paste, and I'm just going to cover that in the texture paste, which you've seen me do a few times already. So I'm going to quickly just pop this down. Now what you won't see happen just now is that when I pull this away, the texture paste will be white. When you leave it overnight, that texture paste will become coloured. It will pick up the colours from underneath your design and look absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful. Isn't that pretty? Sometimes I kind of wish it would stay white. The way you would make that stay white is to simply put some clear gesso on top of it. In other words, you want to create a barrier so the ink won't be absorbed into the texture paste. So that does look beautiful in white. So I might try another one later on off video with the clear gesso on. But that's beautiful. So I'm going to put that to one side and let that dry. Okay, so the drippy card is now dry, and you can see how the colours of that texture paste has changed to reflect the colours of the mists that was behind it. So now I just need to dress this card up and make it look extra pretty. So just for a change, what I thought I would do is to create and make a few little handmade roses for a change. And I'm going to use this paper here from the Wildflower collection from Kaisercraft. It's a beautiful kind of water-washed collection, really pretty, and it's called Flowering. All you need to do is to, you can see I've been playing here already, is to cut out a really rough circle, about 4-5 inches in diameter. doesn't really matter about the size. So you can see how rough my circle is. So there's my circle, and what I'm going to do is I need to cut this. Now normally I just go in with the scissors, but just to show you on the video, you're going to start and you're going to go round and round and round, just something like that. So it's like a big fancy number 6, I guess. And then that's the shape you want to cut. It doesn't have to be precise, okay? So don't worry about it being perfectly aligned, that one side is fatter than the other. Does not matter. Okay, so that's fine. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to start rolling this, and I'm just going to start from this end. We don't need a quilling tool, we don't need anything pokey, we just need to get this going, and it's rough. This is rough, okay? Rough is good for this one. Now I've got this going. Can you see? There's a little circular thing happening there in the center. What I'm now going to do is take this edge and just roughly fold it backwards and then continue rolling. Now when I'm rolling, what I am making sure all the time is that the bottom stays even. In other words, I'm not going to have the roll going up so the bottom becomes longer. So keep that nice and straight. So I always tend to keep my thumb there so I can feel what's going on. So keep rolling, and again just folding it down as you're rolling. Okay, so you can see what's happening here. So just thumbing it down, rolling along, just checking that the bottom is against my finger. Yep, that's fine. And keep on rolling. Rolling, folding, rolling, folding. The important thing with this little flower is just don't get hung up about it. We can do a bit of squeezing and reshaping in a minute. So rolling, a bit more folding. Sometimes it's tight, sometimes it's loose. Just go with the flow, let it work and do its thing. Okay, a bit more folding. So I'm coming to the end now. So at the end we've got this little piece here. And all I'm going to do is I am going to stick a mini glue dot. So I've just put a little mini glue dot on there. You could put a bit of strong tape or, you know, your really strong paper crafting glue, and you can stick that down. So we then have a lovely little flower. And what I like to do is I just like to squash it a bit. So I'll put my hand on top and making sure that you're squashing it from the middle down. And you just squash it down a bit, and then you can just fluff it and train it and just do what it actually needs. Sorry, oh dear. So you know, you can just play with that to make it look exactly as you want. So I've done a few of these already. So I've got another pink one, and I've used some of the other paper here from that particular collection. So I've got these 3 lovely little roses, handmade, which is nice for a change, to go on my card. So I'm going to start to assemble this now, and because I do love to use cheesecloth, what I might do, yes, let's do that because I haven't showed you, and it is a nice technique that you can do if you can just get whatever colour you want. So I'm going to go with the green, and I'm just going to squirt some green onto my mat. Okay, and what I'm going to do is to take a little piece of cheesecloth, and I'm just going to colour that up. So just dropping it in there, just colouring it all up. Okay, just like that. You can use your tweezers if you don't want to get it all over your fingers. You can do it thoroughly, or you can leave part white, part not. Entirely up to you. So happy with how that looks. Okay, so it's time to make our drippy card look beautiful. So I've got my green cheesecloth, so I'm going to pop that down just like I've done before. A little bit of glue, just sticking that in position. We can fussy play with that in a minute. Then I'm going to pop my flowers down. One. And of course we always work in odd numbers. 2 and 3. They look quite pretty there. Now what I have actually done is I have gone ahead and cut some of this die out. This is the new double vine die from Kaisercraft, and it looks pretty here, but gee, you wait till you see what it's like when it's cut out. So I always go ahead and cut, especially with leaves and vines. Isn't that pretty? So I thought we had to use a couple of these in this one, and I'm going to, I think the gold will look beautiful on this one. I'm going to just put a little bit of gold on my finger. Oh, there's a lot of gold going on my finger there. And I'm just going to colour this in. So it becomes nice and kind of shimmery. Yeah, that's lovely. So I might do one more. Love playing with my fingers. Very nice. So you can see it's just given it a kind of interesting perspective, a little bit of a shimmer, a glittery look, and it's going to look really pretty, I think, on this one here. Now, while I've got the gold out, I've cut a pretty little butterfly from that same wildflower collection, and this is from the paper called Wings. And I've just fussy cut the butterfly, and I'm just going to do exactly the same. I'm going to paint his wings, and you can see how pretty he's going to look as well. So he's done. So I've got some butterflies, I've got some couple of vines. Now remember I said working odd numbers, so I've got 2 vines, so I better make it a third one because it will probably won't look right. So I'll just quickly colour in another one before wiping away my gold paint. Excellent. So let's just wipe this away. Now, so I've got some flowers, some mesh, some vines, a beautiful butterfly, a sentiment. Now I noticed in the wildflower paper pad there was some beautiful little sentiments that would look lovely. Let's see if I can just find them. So this is the paper pad, and as you can see, so pretty, so fresh. This is the one I'm looking for. And what I'm going to do, let's do best wishes. So I've got best wishes here. So all I want to do is just to roughly cut that out. Because this is kind of mixed media, we're not looking for perfection. I don't want straight lines, I don't want that perfection. So I've cut that out, and in fact I'm just going to distress these edges with this little distressing tool to make it even more roughed up. If you don't have a distressing tool, what you can do is you can grab your scissors and you can just run, probably not a good pair with the spring loaded, got a humongous pair here, try them. So you just rub the edges with the scissor like that, and that will distress them for you. Okay, so that looks nice. Now you can see that the best wishes is a bit hard to find, so in keeping with our colour palette, I'm going to colour this, and I think I'll do it in that beautiful candy pink. So here's the candy pink, so I'm just going to spritz that on, looks good, and then I'm just going to wipe that away. See how pretty that looks now? So that's clearly, you can see the best wishes, and the pink tones in beautifully with our card because we've used that already. Yep, that's looking nice. So I'm going to slip this behind. So it's just coming out from there, best wishes. I can now pop in my little vines. So as always, I'm just going to put some adhesive on the tips, on the ends, so they're free to play and to look beautiful. Poking it in behind. I like the tweezers because they can get to places that the old fingers can't, so that looks nice. Let's have another one coming down the bottom. Pick that flower up, put that under there. That's lovely. Now what I'm going to do with this one, I'm just going to chop a bit off and put part of it kind of coming up here, and then this other little bit, waste not, want not, we'll use that too, thank you very much. And we're just going to poke him coming down there, so he's surrounded totally by all these pretty vines. Okay, That looks nice. All right, now of course to finish it off we've got this beautiful little butterfly. I think I'll sit him there. So that's another of the beautiful mixed media cards. I think it looks absolutely gorgeous. You could put a bit of sprinkly glitter on there if you wanted, but I think that looks really pretty, and it's nice to see a few handmade flowers too.